Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining. Hopefully you are here for the Geer Board of Determination meeting. We're going to start with a presentation, and then there will be a public comment section towards the end of the meeting. So if you would like to formally address the board, you can do so at that time. Until that time comes up, we're going to ask that you stay on mute. If you have any questions or comments, I know the camera has rotated a couple of times. I think I've got that figured out, but if you lose sound or anything, I will be monitoring the chat, so feel free to just drop a comment into the chat. With that, I think we're almost ready to start here, so just give us a few more minutes and we will be beginning.
It sounds like you're ready.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. It's 7 o'clock. Hopefully you're all here for the Geer Drain petition. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 30th. I want to start with a few procedural issues, and we'll get to the meeting. So first of all, I do want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming out. I know it can be a little bit of a burden and a hardship sometimes to get out to these meetings, especially when it's a little bit unknown what we're even doing here tonight. So hopefully it'll all come very clear soon. I want to also thank our board of determination members for also taking the time out of their schedule to attend tonight. So thank you for that. We're here tonight. I'm going to talk a little let me do procedural stuff. So first of all, hopefully y'all had a chance to sign the attendance sign-in sheet at the table walking in. We just do that in case we need to, either if you want to talk to us later on, or if we need to reach out to you later on, we just know who we're contacting or talking to. Further to that, we'll probably bring him in here now that everyone's here. If you want to speak tonight, everybody will have a chance during the public hearing to make public comments to our board members. If you'd like to do so, you can change your mind later on, but we do ask you to fill out the note card with your name and address. And during the public comment portion of the hearing, we were going to ask you to state your name and your address for the record.
Forgive my ignorance, but who are you?
My name is Scott Miller. I will be Deputy Water Resources.
Okay, thank you.
So that's actually next to me.
Okay.
But anyway, procedural, and if you don't fill out a card now, that's fine. You can raise your hand and get a card if something comes to you or someone says something that sparks something in your head you want to fill out. So we're here to talk about the Geer Drain tonight. The interesting part of this is this entire meeting, this board of determination, is governed by a state law. So the Michigan legislature passed a law in 1956 called the Drain Code. It's been amended several times since then, but it outlines the proceedings that we're here tonight for. And one of the shortcomings of it, which we usually always hear at every one of these meetings, is why are we here? What's going on? I got a notice about a meeting and I don't know what it's about. And unfortunately, the Drain Code is set up deliberately that way. This meeting is actually meant for all the members of the drainage district or the people that live in the Geer Drain watershed to give testimony tonight on the state of the drain as they see it. So unfortunately, we don't have the ability, so to speak, to go do a full investigation and give everyone a preview of what's going on. Is we're actually here tonight to hear what you have to say about it and give the board your testimony so that they can hear from the landowners, the property owners, what's going on. So it is sort of set up a little bit deliberately that there's not a lot of information, but hopefully everybody that's had experience with the drain tonight will be able to give testimony and give the board direction on what's going on with the drain. So, I'm gonna call, out our introductions here as we start. So we have three members of the board of determination with us tonight. I guess I'll start at the back. We have Mr. Barry LaRue. We have Mr. Andrew Schmidt. And we have Mr. Chris Chang. So they're gonna serve as our board members tonight. Again, my name is Scott Miller. I'm with the County Water Resources Office. Gretchen Driscoll, your elected County Water Resources official, is here with us as well tonight. We have other members of our staff. A lot of times they're fine not being introduced, but if we need to, we'll introduce them as we go. And then the primary purpose of today's meeting officially is to hear testimony related to the necessity of locating, establishing, or constructing a drain or drain district, or the necessity of improvements to a drain or drain district. The board, I just mentioned, after public testimony, will decide whether the drain or proposed improvements to the drain are necessary and are necessary to conducive to public health and convenience or welfare. So, first thing I'm gonna do is impanel the board, so they're official, and then we'll turn the proceedings over to the board, and then they will run the rest of the meeting. So, any brief questions before we start? Awesome, okay. So, Jonathan. I'm going to ask you a series of 5 questions. And just, you can answer in the affirmative or negative. The first, are you a freeholder of land in the state of Michigan?
Yes.
Do you reside in Washtenaw County?
Yes.
Do you own land in the drainage district, or would you be affected by any special assessment that may be levied?
No.
Do you feel you can make an unbiased and objective decision based on the testimony you receive?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna ask you all to raise your right hand. And you just have to respond. You, and each of you, do solemnly swear that you will faithfully perform and discharge the duties imposed upon you and each of you as required by law as members of the board of determination appointed by the Water Resources Commissioner of the County of Washtenaw to determine the necessity of improvements as requested in a petition dated June 16th, 2025, to a certain drain known as designated as the Geer Drain in the Township of Superior in said county.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So I will turn the meeting over to the board, and I would suggest as your first item of business is to adopt the agenda, and then you get to elect the chair and the secretary.
All right, we have a standard agenda before us. Is there a motion to with the agenda? A second. Moves for any discussion, any changes? All in favor? Aye. Do we have an agenda? All right. Next up, we'll elect our officers then. We have any nominations?
I knew it shouldn't be me.
So that's the point. Andrew back. As our chair.
I think that sounds good.
Accepted. Yes. All in favor? Aye. Right. And we need a secretary as well. We have a nomination for the secretary. Wait, who did I pick?
Pretty lovely, I'm Mark.
Okay, supported. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Congratulations. All right, the formality seems a little weird, please bear with us, it's in the drain code. So. All right, next up, I'm gonna turn it back to Scott, talk a little bit more about the role of well, you've already talked about the role and function of the board, the procedural history. I think we're on to Matt now, aren't we, for the drain inspector presentation?
If we can, or we also occasionally, if you're interested in the background or the history of the drain and the drain.
Oh, the specific drain, please.
Okay,
Scott, is your mic on?
I got it off.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Can
gonna
you turn it on, please?
Okay. So the history of the Geer Drain and Drain District. So it's maybe interesting for some of you. We'll see. The Geer Drain was established in 1924. 101 years old. The Drain District was also established in 1924, so that represents the watershed, the Geer Drain. It has not been updated since that date. So you'll notice on the maps, it's a very squared off looking rectangle-ish drain district, which at the time represented probably property corners. Drains, lands that drain in the district. The Geer Drain is a district of the Fleming Creek. So some of you might remember we had a drain project, BOD on the Fleming Creek. 2 years ago, last year. So the Geer Drain does drain towards and into ultimately the Fleming Creek. All of the drain is located in Superior Township in sections 2 and 3. It is 0.69 miles long. And generally speaking, has an easement 33 feet each side of the center line for its entire length. There are a total of 25 parcels currently located in the drain district, comprising 109 acres. Over the drain has been assessed over the last 5 years. Generally speaking, the assessments have ranged from $1,000 upwards of $8,000 per year over those years. The maintenance that's occurred over those last 5 years has included replacing over 500 feet of pipe along Plymouth Ann Arbor Road, clearing blockages, installing catch basins, repairing lengths of pipe, and then referring the crossing Berry Road to the road commission for their termination. Overall,
The $1,000 is for the assessment, or that's the maintenance?
that was the maintenance.
For you, for that.
The drain tile, it's a pipe. You haven't gone out and inspected it, it would be hard to see. So it is a pipe. It was constructed in 1924. It's comprised originally of 8-inch and 12-inch pipe tile. Repairs were done on it, as I said, there was around over 500 feet was replaced with plastic pipe around 4 years ago. And then I think the last thing of note in the history of this is the drain originally discharged into the Fleming Creek directly. It appears that around 1979 or 1980, when Fleming Creek was relocated as part of the M14 road work, the Geer Drain was changed a little bit, and it now outlets to a pond on the south side of Fleming Creek, which then leads into Fleming Creek. So there's not a direct tap into it at this point. So that is the general history of the drain and the drain district.
Hey, Scott, we got a message saying they're having a hard time hearing, so we just, sorry.
Put the mic closer to your mouth. That's what they like.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
So that would conclude my report on the history of the drain and drain district.
Could I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Have you TV'd the drain at any time to determine its current condition?
We have not.
Thank you.
We can move on to Matt's report then. Sure. I'd like to invite Matt up to report on what he saw when he walked the drain. Maybe a little round of applause for Matt.
Hello, my name is Matthew Padula. I'm inspector for Washington County Water Resources. This is the Geer Drain inspection report. I inspected the drain on September 3rd and 4th of 2025. This was just a quick history, but it seems like Scott already covered most of this. Here's a map of the drainage district. That blue line there is the Geer Drain itself. And that purple line is an outline of the drainage district. Here's a closer view of the Geer Drain. Geer Drain starts on the eastern side at 800 Plymouth Road. Heads north, then starts heading west, parallel with Plymouth Road. Crosses Berry Road. Keeps heading west until it crosses Plymouth Road. Between Mario Drive and Stanley Court there. Then it crosses Mario Drive and outlets into that pond at the northwest over there. Those red dots are the photo points that I took during this inspection. They will be going from east to west. This is point number one. Pretty nice size sinkhole. This is just north of the pond at 8800 Plymouth Road. Heading north from there is a potential sinkhole. The pipe shown is a driveway culvert. It is not part of the drain, but wanted to mention that sinkhole just is part of, close to the drain. Starting to head west from the last pipe, but still on the same property. Another decent sized sinkhole. Pipe shown are pond outlets and not part of the drain. Point number 4, heading west into the woods between 8800 Plymouth Road and Berry Road. Several small sinkholes as well as brush growing around the drain. Point number 5, just west of that last point, still in the wooded section, small sinkholes. You can see exposed clay tile. Sure. The exposed clay tile there, as well as erosion and trees and brush growing around where the pipe lies. Point number 6, crossing to the other side of Berry Road, another sinkhole. It's hard to see due to the brush growing up and around. I believe this sinkhole catches water from the Berry Road ditches there. Point number 7, just west of that last point. Another sinkhole, again hard to see, but our trimble stick there is sticking down into it. Point number 8, we're now just east of that white driveway there. Another small sinkhole with brushing debris inside of it. Heading to the other side of that driveway. String of small sinkholes. This area was hard to walk due to just the amount of sinkholes. And then the sinkholes extend to this next point, number 10 here. This is just west of that last point still. It's a catch basin. This catch basin marks the point where a new plastic pipe was installed in 2020. That new plastic pipe extends approximately 525 feet to the next wood line around point 13. This is right next to that last point at the wood line on the east side of 8600 Plymouth Road. The slopes here show the general direction of the drain, location of the drain. This is a driveway cutout that was cut out for the pipe replacement in 2020. Just showing the location of the drain. This driveway is at 8600 Plymouth Road. Just west of that last point, but before the wood line, standpipe in the yard directly attached to the pipe. This is, it's still plastic pipe at this point. Heading west into that wooded section. Two more sinkholes right by each other. One pictured on the top is large with fully exposed pipe. And that is now clay tile again. Close to that last point, but still a wooded section. Sinkhole, with brush and debris around it. This is point number 16, what's that last point? We're now onto the yard of 8482 Plymouth Road. The picture here shows two sinkholes, one right in the front, one right behind it. '17, still the far west of that last one. This sinkhole shows exposed pipes. You can actually see the pipe down in there, as well as pieces of broken tile that may not right on the side of the sinkhole. The west of that last point, still in that same yard, catch basin. Catch basin was holding water at the time of the inspection. This is again west of that last point here, just south of Plymouth Road now. This is a sinkhole right next to the DTA power pole. This pipe was actually patched soon after the inspection. There's a catch basin on the south side of Plymouth Road. The inside of the catch basin has sediment and debris, and that northwest corner there is damaged. That's the top right of the photo. And then the picture to the right shows the box culvert that leads under Plymouth Road. That box culvert is about 2 foot by 2.5 foot wide. It has sediment and debris, including a piece of clay tile. Pole roll appears to be in decent condition. That box culvert is under Plymouth Road to a very square structure similar to the one shown in the last picture. A pipe connected to the very structure then goes to a catch basin shown in the next slide. There's a catch basin on the north side of Plymouth Road. The pipe from that square structure leads here. Catch basin appears to be in good condition, with some sediment in the bottom. This is just north of the last point in a small wooded section between Plymouth Road and Mario Drive. A large sinkhole under a dead tree with clay tile pieces. I would also like to note that a lot of these damaged clay tile is most likely a result of just age. Like Scott said, this drain is 101 years old now, and that's kind of just what happens, I guess, after enough time. This is the outlet of the drain at on the northwest section there. You can see that piece of like that, it's a 12-inch PVC pipe. There's an area of sediment deposition in the front of the outlet, which can indicate sediment flowing through the pipe and deposited into the pond. There's the end.
Matt, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's okay, I have a few questions and I suspect that I thought the building materials here might have a couple of questions to clarify your presentation, if you may, before we go to public, comment. Is that okay, Scott? Very good. Well, first I wanna, just for clarification, because I'm not a drains person per se, and, you made reference to a couple of terms I just wanna get clarified for the audience as well. So you made reference to a trimble stick. What is a trimble stick and what's its purpose?
So that is a GPS kind of locating device. It was used to take these GPS points. That is about big, and it's just giving better GPS than a phone.
Thank you. And I had another question. So you made several references to sinkholes.
Yeah.
And, are sinkholes inherently bad when it comes to a drain?
Yes, so. Basically, a sinkhole in terms of like. One of our drains is, there's a damaged section of pipe. And water gets in that section of pipe, and sediment and dirt along with it. And it can cause clogs and it also just means there's a damaged section of pipe to begin with.
And then to wrap up my inquiry here, are standpipes and catch basins the means of ingress for water into the drain?
Yes, so, in that specific section with the plastic, those were added because water can infiltrate that plastic pipe. So you have to put those catch basins and standpipes to collect the water.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions from Chris or Gary?
Well, sure, and because I'm pretty new to this, and I'm also not an engineer, such as yourself. Oh, well, okay. 100 years ago, 100 years plus, when this was installed, was the purpose that there was a creek and it needed to be put underground in order to be less of a problem for adjoining property owners, or what was the exact purpose of the drain to begin with?
So clearly, I don't have local knowledge of the decision made based on the petition. I don't believe it was a natural stream. It looks like it was meant to artificially drain wetlands. It was an artificial conveyance that there wasn't a natural water course established before it. But there's not a lot of information in the file about the reason behind the original petition.
And it was primarily agricultural or vacant land at the time, just woods and fields. Probably
I don't know.
100 plus years ago.
Yeah, I don't know the answer. I don't believe the residential nature of the lands were there at that time. I don't know if it was wooded or farmed at the time.
And then that PVC pipe that you said that it was outletting that's fairly new. Is that a 6 or 8 inch?
That was a 12.
A 12 inch. Was it sized for a specific reason for a storm event?
So I don't believe that we were the ones who installed that. I think it was probably somebody needed the pipe moved for a building or some reason, and they put that. Or maybe it was put in when the drain got reverted, but I don't think it was put in.
Gary, you have a question?
Well, what would the adverse? And I'm just asking this, just a hypothetical. If this drain went away, let's say it just you pulled it out, and I'm not suggesting that be done, but does anyone know what the result of that would be? I'm asking that seriously because I'm not really familiar with the topography.
Well, based on the series of, well, a couple of reasons, so, I am an engineer. I'll preface with that. From an engineering perspective, it is collecting drainage and it's conveyance of runoff, downstream towards the pond. But based on the series of service requests we've received on it, and the times our field staff has gone out and responded to those service requests. There's been a lot of observations of, local flooding, in the vicinity of the drain. That, in my opinion, would indicate that there was either, an obstruction or a broken piece of tile that was preventing the drain from working as a conveyance. So when those areas were repaired in the past, I would say temporarily, the local flooding, I wouldn't say it went away, but it dissipated. To an extent that I think that, yes, I believe if the drain didn't exist, to your original question, that there would probably be local to widespread surface flooding along the corridor.
Thank you. At this point, we'd like to open it up for public comment. If you would like to, submit comment this evening, we ask that you fill out a speaker's card. This is, so that we can retain record of who's provided comments, and, this comes in, becomes important, later on, should anyone decide that they need to, submit an appeal. So if there's anyone who would like to speak, any cards we should pick up besides the one I have in my hand?
And I know a couple people joined the online portion late. If you would like to address the board or make public comment, if you can use the reaction raise hand at the bottom of your screen, I can fill out a comment card for you, and then you'll be able to address the board.
Thank you. So at this point, I have one card, William Fishback. Would you care to make comments?
Yes. I'm William Fishbeck, and I'm the fifth generation.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could I trouble you to come to the microphone?
Okay.
This is to facilitate so the folks
Okay.
online can hear as well.
Thank you.
I'm not used to talking in Morley.
You're doing fine.
Okay, I'm William Fishbeck, and I'm a farmer in Superior Township, and my wife and I own land in section 3 of Superior that's on the Geer Drain.
And your address, please?
What's that?
The address?
8424 Ann Arbor Road West.
Excellent.
I don't live there.
Understood.
And all I know is the Geer Drain isn't working like it used to. And I feel it should, after seeing these slides, I feel it should be rebuilt. And that's about all I gotta say, and I'm lived here all my life, and that's all I've got to say. Thank you,
sir. Any other comments? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so what are you proposing that they,
You have a card, please?
no, I don't. no.
He can come speak and I can have him fill it out after.
Okay.
Go ahead and go up there and talk, and I'll just leave it on your chair.
Okay, thank you. So, what are you proposing, that the, drain be, replaced or redone? It looks like that's what it needs.
Good. I'm sorry. For the process, could I have you state your name and the address, please?
Yeah, my name's, Larry, and my last name is Wallon, I'm WOLHON.
Thank you.
And we live at 8984 Ann Arbor Road West, and I'm really, as far as I can tell, we're really not out of ways, we're in that Geer Drain thing, but we're actually east of there. But, it looks to me like the whole thing ought to be replaced. So that's about all I gotta say, but it looks like it's not in too great a shape. I mean, otherwise you're gonna have more floods. So,
Awesome.
so for what it's worth,
We appreciate your comments, sir. Any others? Do we have any online comments?
I do not see any hands raised. Oh, Yep, I do have one.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Let me turn the volume. All right. Go ahead, David. You can
Hi.
state your address.
Yeah, my name's David Nerschel. I live at 8265 Ann Arbor Road. Thank you for the presentation. It was very informative. And I would seem to echo what I've heard about rebuilding as needed, but I just wondered, do you have any plans in place or thought process about what you guys are thinking about doing right now? We can tell that it's in rough shape, but has there been any proposed, solution to this issue?
Yeah, I'm gonna take this opportunity to do a little, process clarification. The purpose of this hearing is to, determine whether or not, the Water Resources Commissioner's Office should undertake, an evaluation of whether or not a project, should be undertaken. And at that point, we go into the whole process of input associated with the project. Today is to find out if you, the folks in the drain, have interest in there being a project pursued or not. So that's really what we're here for. So, as much as we would like to be able to answer your question, that's beyond what the purpose of this hearing is about today. That's probably not very satisfying, I apologize, but that's where we're at. This is to determine whether or not the drain commissioner's office should be directed to pursue a project or not. So we really can't talk about, there's nothing really to talk about in terms of budget or what the project might look like, because that's gonna require further investigation. Any other comments from online?
It looks like David has a follow-up question.
Okay, let's take that first.
It's not really a question, just again, thank you for your response. I appreciate it. Then yes, I'd like to, on the record, say yes, I think it would be important for a project to fix the issue. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Rose Lang?
Yes, Rose Lang, 8950 Ann Arbor Way West. I just have a follow-up. I guess, I don't know much about this, and obviously our house is part of this drainage, so that's what we hear. So when the gentleman evaluated the sinkholes, so when he saw the sinkholes, all of them had the clay tiles or some kind of tiles associated with it. Okay, sorry, so that's what I wanted to know, because I didn't know if it was just a regular sinkhole or if it was associated with all those points. And those are the points that he checked, right, the 21 or.
Yeah, and I think that's a reasonable clarification we should see. Matt, the sinkholes you saw, where you saw effectively it was that the tiles had failed and had fallen into the drain itself.
Yes, so maybe all of them.
Sorry, they can't hear you online if you're not by mic. Thank you.
So many of them, if not all of them, were points where the clay tile had failed. That was obvious.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
I just wanted clarification of that. Okay, so I didn't really do this right now. And then, at our residence, we don't have any issues with water, but I think some of the part that some people do. And I know, when was it? You were saying that we replaced some of the tile and I saw some of the drawings. So did our taxes pay for that or will we special assessment? Okay, I thought so, but I couldn't remember.
So the short answer to that is we never charge any money if we don't do any work. So it's not a tax. I'm gonna wanna take your time, but.
I know, I'm sorry, they can't hear you though, if you're not in the mic.
So, the way that our office works with all county drains, if we do no work, you don't pay any money whatsoever, so we don't collect the tax every year to do repairs. So every time we do a repair, then we have to assess the properties in the district, the township at large, the transportation authorities, the various entities that we assess, and then you get an assessment charge for that. So like the gentleman mentioned, the 1 year we did a fairly large repair, and we spent $8,000. That year, there was a special assessment on the way to tax bill for, and part of the charge went to the property owners and the district. That's fine.
So you went to all the people that are in that square. Okay. And so I'm assuming that if you guys did whatever you needed to do, what we pay in taxes probably will not cover what you guys,
It would be a new assessment.
and I think you said how many feet? I can't remember, whatever, 500 feet
So 525 feet was replaced.
replaced, and then some of it was cleared out, and that was a total of $8,000 just for that portion
For that year.
for that year. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, okay, if they did the whole whatever, it's gonna be a lot more than that, based on what you're saying.
And just to be clear, it's very difficult to even estimate what the cost of a project might be. It's really dependent upon the scope that's determined to be needed. So there may be parts of it where maybe the drain just needs to be cleaned out, but there are other places where tile will probably need to be removed and replaced, or catch basins removed and replaced, or standpipes replaced as well, so.
And then I think Matt, if I could ask Matt a question. Thank you. So there was a photo where you showed it from the edge that was box, like it was a square box. Does that run through the whole corridor or just portions?
So that box culvert, that just these on the coast.
Okay, so it's just plain, and I think you said that look, these and go pretty.
And here that first likes to be in these.
But thank you, I think that was it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Are there any? Yes, sir.
My name is David King. I live at 8482 Ann Arbor Road West. I have lived at that address for over 50 years, and I've been calling the Drain Commission to fix things for longer than that. I was moved to Michigan in 1944, and the drain was bad then, and it's still bad, the whole length of it. Berry Road, which the Geer Drain, the purpose of it is to drain the pond on the east side of Berry Road. It's never worked. And I'll tell people, used to cross Berry Road from Ford Road to Berry Road when there wasn't any road. You couldn't drive across there. And that was plugged up then. And there's, if you can see the picture of the pond that the Geer Drain supposedly picks up the water from, of course, it's at the bottom of the hill at Berry Road. And it's got trees growing around it and water from the road, both sides of the road flowing into it. And it's been non-functional for all those years. And I can answer any question. The Drain Commission people and the Water Resource Board have been to my house dozens of times. Most recently, we had some new ruptures in the ground, you know, with the water coming up because of other sections that are failed. And, I've had instances, in 1988, I put an addition on my house. And before it was finished, I had 19 inches of water in my basement. And the water is 5 feet out, 5 feet high. I get runoff from Berry Road and all the properties above that. It's supposed to go down through the drain, but the drain is completely collapsed. It's been choked for years. In addition to the runoff, there's runoff on other properties on the 8600 and other properties on the west side of Berry Road. And so it's just never been addressed. They tried to patch it and a foot diameter line isn't gonna carry the volume of water that has. I have photos. I brought it the last meeting here. This is not a new problem, and when you say does it need to be fixed, yeah, I think it needs to be fixed all the time. And but it's not a matter of if, when, it should have been done decades ago. So that's all I got to say. You're all welcome still to come out and visit my property and I'll show you what the deal is.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Your comments are very much appreciated. Anyone else? Any other comments? Oh, you're gonna get a card too.
I'm gonna get through.
I'll put it on your chair. You're good. Go ahead.
I'm Jim Kroppenack, and I live at 8361 Ann Arbor. And I've been at my residence about 35-ish years. And I'm just more or less, I know there's a drain that, you know, the Geer Drain how it comes in there. And it comes in there when we have rain. We have, now like this year, we haven't had rain. Hardly at all. But when we did, it would flow in there. Right now it's bone dry. I live on the lake. And we're at the mercy of whatever water comes in there. And you can see a big dirt cloud coming in there. I don't know if that's from a collapsed drain line or what. But the integrity of the lake has gone downhill for the last, 20 years. It's like, I used to snorkel in there. And I can't now because this summer we had the worst algae bloom we've ever had. And I've noticed a pond that's just west of Berry Road. It has this big algae stuff in there, and that's what this drains into also. And we're at the mercy of like whatever else comes in there. And I don't know if we get more water, yeah, I mean, it would probably be good for everybody else. I don't know if it's the best thing for us. We need some water, but we need clean water. That's my concern.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Anyone else? Any other online? Any written correspondence that needs to be read into the record?
I had somebody submit me pictures, but I don't believe that they're here to give their comments.
Okay.
Unless I'm wrong.
All right,
I do not see that person.
last call before we close the public comment period. Very good, thank you. At this point, we'll close public comment, and the board will now consider a resolution. Barry, Chris, I don't know if you recall, we have an option between two different orders here. One of them is in the affirmative, and the other one is where the opposite. It's in the order section, under the order tab. So one of you would care to move one of those two orders? Chris?
Yeah, I'm happy to move it. Whereas,
Oh, you don't need to read it because we're gonna read it later.
okay,
Which sounds kind of weird. Our apologies, once again, the process is a little peculiar in that regard. But I think you can speak to it in terms of, in favor of or opposed to, or not seeing a need for, a drain project.
well, I would say with the presentation by the County Drain Commission's office, plus the testimonials from the residents who live in the Geer Drain district, that I would support moving this forward for, additional investigation for repairs and or replacement of the pipe and to improve the drainage district. So that's where I'm.
Is that a second? Do I hear a
It
second?
is a second, I agree, it sounds as if it's in very bad shape. And, that investigation needs to move forward.
Any further, it sounds like we got a lot of the discussion out there already. I would concur, based on Matt's presentation and the clarifying questions brought forth by the commenters this evening. I too would concur with that. Any further discussion before we take a vote on that?
I would, just as a suggestion,
Yes.
this is usually a good opportunity for us to talk about the legalities of what you're voting on.
Oh dear, yes, Scott, please, the legalities.
All right. So again, I'm referencing the drain code, Public Act 40, 1956 is amended, so. You're gonna have a vote here, if the board by majority vote determines that a project is necessary. Then the Water Resources Commissioner is required to proceed with the project to construct and or improve the drain in the drainage district. We would intend to do. If the board determines by majority vote that a project is not necessary, then this process comes to an end. And a new petition cannot be submitted to our office for a period of 1 year, from the state. Sorry, good question. So, if any of the property owners feel aggrieved by the decision they make, and whether it's in the affirmative or the negative, you do have an appeal period, so you have 10 days from the date of the hearing to file a motion in the local court, so you would file with Washington's, we believe would be the circuit court, it's pretty rarely done, but I think that's the correct court. And then the courts would decide whether to appeal to this decision or not. So that if an appeal is not filed within the 10 days, then the decision is binding, we would either proceed with the project or the process would end for a period of 1 year. So, pretty clear? Clear?
Thank you, Scott.
Okay, sorry.
Not a problem.
Can I ask a question?
Just from a procedural matter, can you read what we're gonna be voting on, so is it written? I know we've had a discussion of what we intend to do, but I would like it to be voted on. Something that is stated clearly, something that.
Okay, so. As far as the legal proceedings go, the landowners don't have a vote.
No, I don't wanna vote, I just wanna know what, is when you make a motion in this procedure, you state what the motion is. Right now, we kind of have loose language. You use the word the project, I wanna know what that is, it takes a paragraph.
Okay, so really, I can read this, I don't know if it'll clarify it that much, but essentially what they're going to do is either vote yes or no to the question of whether the proposed drain project is necessary and conducive to public health, convenience, or welfare pursuant to Chapter 8, Public Act 40, the Drain Code of 1956 amendment. So that's the question to decide, is a project necessary or not necessary? That's the only question. It doesn't, it's not a question of what the scope of work is. It's not a question on how much money may get expended. It's not even a question on what we'll do to the drain. It's just it either authorizes the Water Resources Commissioner to undertake the project, or it basically says, no, we're not going to do a project and we're not going to pursue further work, at least until another petition would come in for a year.
And just for clarity, just to be transparent, in our board packet up here, we have 2 resolutions.
Orders.
I'm sorry, orders, 2 orders. One order says that, a petition for the drain shall not be entertained within 1 year of the date of the order, and the other one says there will be a project. So we're just picking between the 2. It's not pretty, it's not what I would consider typical Robert's Rules of Order, but this is what we have the language right before us here.
I have a follow-up question.
Please.
So when you guys are saying project, what you're saying is we're moving forward to fix the drain, or are we moving forward to investigate it to see if we need to fix the drain? I guess that's where I'm kind of.
That's what's sort of nebulous about this, yes, because all it does is authorize the Water Resources Commissioner to do something. It doesn't tell her she has to, like, it doesn't say she has to replace it, it doesn't say she has to fix it, it doesn't say she has to investigate it. All it says is, if they vote yes, she has to do something. And then she would make that determination of what's the best course of action to get the drain operational and functional. And I think we all have an idea of what that probably would be, but for the purposes of the board, they're just deciding whether we're gonna go ahead or not go ahead.
So right now, we don't know if they vote yes, we don't know about that. So.
Yeah, I would say it's a pretty safe bet that we would do more assessment to see if the drain is properly sized. I don't know if we need to do a lot more investigation on the conditions, but we would probably look at the sizing. We would definitely look at the drainage district, because it's, as you can, you can kind of see, but it's a rectangle on most watersheds look a lot more natural in shape, and plus the downstream end is not even in the district, which doesn't make a lot of sense. So we're gonna, I can tell you, we will do that.
How long is that whole project before you go,
Well, so we would wait 10 days. If there's not an appeal, after the 10 days, we would start the project. I would say we would probably engage an engineering firm to look at it. We would wait for a report from them. Depending what the report and recommendations are, we would then move forward with probably one of the recommendations in the report. And we're talking probably on a period of months, but less than years. It's not.
I know it's not black and white, I understand.
But it won't be this year. You won't see like construction this year, but I would say sometime next year, probably summer to fall would be a realistic goal. If we did some sort of project.
Thank you.
We do have a question online too.
So should the group decide to move forward with the project and the inspections are done and recommendations are made, would the recommendations then be put forth in front of us again to chime in on? Or are we at the mercy of whatever the inspectors decide is the best course or route of action, I guess?
I wouldn't term it the mercy. The Water Resources Commissioner has 100% discretion on the scope, size, and cost of the project. So there's not necessarily more public input past this point. Realistically, however, I would say, so the district's 25 parcels right now. We would look at that, it might get a little bigger, it might get a little smaller, I don't know that. I don't know what the true watershed of the Geer is if we do a project, but let's say we redelineate the drainage district and I doubt it would be more than 30 parcels at most. One of the considerations we're gonna have to make is what the economic impact of a full-scale project is trying to, I don't wanna put numbers out there for people to be like, oh my god, but you know, when we start talking tens of thousands of dollars or more, it could be an economic burden on such a small district. So that's also part of the Water Resources Commissioner's deliberation is how much does this cost in order to get the benefits that are going to be derived?
Another question. You've been saying here, is there any chance that other communities that we have what's going on in this world? Rectangle.
There's no upstream drainage districts to Geer, so Geer is upstream to Fleming, so Geer impacts the Fleming Creek. But there's not a specific drain that drains into the Geer, so there's not an upstream watershed. I mean, there's a, well, I guess I'd leave it at that, there's not an upstream watershed that goes into the Geer, so there's not upstream communities that could impact the Geer unless they artificially start directing water towards the Geer district if there was some sort of development come along that did that, but I would suggest through the site development approval process that there would be oversight of that. I guess the short answer is I don't believe that's going to be a question.
Not impossible.
I would never say impossible, but I'd say unlikely.
And a logistics question, I know you don't have any issues, you haven't done the study. What would be the impact to your homeowners if the project moved forward? Are we talking about driveways being closed off for weeks on end? I live at the corner of Warren and Berry, and the Gottfriedson, or the culvert down towards Gottfriedson was out of commission to do a washout for 6 months. It was pretty impactful to people there, and so you had to drive a mile instead of a half mile, but still.
My involvement in the precedence for this is in instances where we are going to have a closure of a driveway or not a road, but a private residence driveway.
There would be no closures of
No,
roads.
I'm saying in my history, if we were going to close private residence driveway for more than a period of 1 day, we have offered those homeowners compensation so that they could relocate during the time of the closure. So if we were gonna close it for 5 days, we'd say, can we put you in a hotel for 5 days? So we don't want there to be a situation where an emergency vehicle cannot access the residence for an extended length of time. Road closures, correct, could extend a week or more in length. If we have to do that, in that case, we would work with the local road commission, the county road commission on establishing a detour route, like other road closures when they do culvert replacement, etc. And work as expediently as possible, but there could be a time period where that delay or detour is in effect. Is that kind of address?
My last question, this pipe is, I don't know if Matt knows, how deep are you talking about? Is it, would a replacement be similar to a storm drain or a sewer replacement project?
Specifically, I don't know. It's fairly shallow, in my opinion.
10 feet, yeah, 10 areas.
I'd say less than 10 feet over most of it. It's fairly shallow. The section we replaced, the 500 feet, was fairly shallow. We were able to do that without any specialized equipment. I don't know. on a new project, what they would entail. I mean, again, we had to make water flow downhill. Clearly, I suspect we have to re-examine the drainage into the pipe, because we've had a lot of reports that the pipe is inadequate in size. That changes the dynamics of things, but, generally speaking, the short answer is it's fairly shallow, in my opinion, under 10 feet. Most.
The drain was put in by hand.
Which I believe.
One man dug it all by hand. That's what I've been told by my dad, my grandpa.
If I may, I'd like to return to our agenda,
We
which,
did have one.
I'm sorry, we have one more?
So,
One more.
sorry. But I was just concerned, going across people's properties. The wells, septic, the whole thing in it. And, I would guarantee there's not gonna be damage to that, or.
Guaranteed. Here's our assurance, so. In theory, so the drain's been there since 1924. We've had an easement over it since 1924, 33 feet each side. If someone put a well or a septic field in the ground within those last 100 years, they should have received a permit from the county, you know, downstairs from us, environmental health. Hopefully they would have checked to make sure that said well and septic was not located within that easement area. If it was, they shouldn't have permitted it. If it turns out the well got dug anyway and it's there, we have to deal with it. So I guess my answer would be, if it's 1 foot away from the drain, we'll probably have to do something. If it's 15 feet from the drain, we might be able to work around it. But in theory, there shouldn't be
No problem.
a problem within 33 feet either side of it.
All right, at this point, we're gonna deviate from theory, and we're gonna move back to our motion that we're considering, and that the motion is to adopt the order of necessity. Any further discussion from the panel? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Chris, at this point, could I ask you as secretary to read out the order of necessity for Geer Drain?
Yes, thank you. Whereas the meeting was held by the Board of Determination on September 30th, 2025. At Superior Township Hall, 3040 North Prospect Road, Superior Township, Michigan, 48198. And whereas said Board of Determination received evidence and heard testimony regarding the petition dated June 16th, 2025. For maintenance and improvement of the drain, and after receiving evidence and hearing testimony made its determination whether the proposed drain project is necessary and conducive to public health, convenience, or welfare pursuant to Chapter 8 of the Public Act 40 of 1956 as amended. Now, therefore, it is hereby ordered and determined that the proposed drain project as set forth in the petition is necessary and conducive to public health, convenience, or welfare.
Thank you.
So I hate to be that person, but I'm gonna be that person for a second. So you have to do it as a person voting and then somebody to second it in order for it to pass. You did all in favor.
We did have
Who was your first vote? You did, and then who's that?
you said.
Oh, I didn't hear your hand, sorry. My bad, I didn't hear your hand.
Move the room. Support.
Okay, there we go.
If you need us to redo this for clarity, we're more than happy to do that.
If you can do it one more time, just to make sure we got it, I would appreciate it.
Is there a motion for to adopt the order of necessity?
Yes, I so move.
You so moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any
Thank you.
further discussion? All in favor?
Perfect.
Opposed? No one, no nays. Heard. Motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Order of necessity has been adopted. Scott, I know that, the next item on our agenda is the appeal process. I know you talked a little bit about that already. Would you like
on a
to?
different agenda than you, we always do. I'm sorry.
That's.
I'll return. So, board made a decision, they have decided for necessity, so we are going to proceed with a project. If you feel that decision was made in error or was wrong for any reason, you do have 10 days. I think starting tomorrow morning, to file, within the Washington Circuit Court. And then they will consider your matter.
One question, whose property has staples?
Can we handle that question after this, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Scott, anything else we need to cover?
Other than I wanted to just thank you for, serving and thank the public for their testimony.
We very much appreciate the opportunity, Scott, on behalf of the panel. I'll take this opportunity to suggest that if you find this process as dictated in the drain code to be cumbersome and not really make a lot of sense, please reach out to your legislators and suggest that they take that up. I'm sure that they would be happy to hear from all of us. On that note, anything else that we need to cover?
Just when you're ready to adjourn.
All right, your motion to adjourn?
A second.
Moved, supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you, everyone. We do appreciate you coming on this evening. Sorry, this may be a little bit longer than we had anticipated, but thank you for your time.
And then if anyone is interested,